Hey, Love Your Life fam. It's Crystal and Andre Holland.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, looking forward to hearing from you. So to find us, you can check us out on
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Stitcher. We look forward to hearing from you all.
Yeah, we came a long way, and that's what the song say. And I can do all things. I can do all things. Yeah, I can do all things. Yeah.
Hey, Love Your Life family. Welcome back to another Loving Your Life podcast. This is Sis Crystal.
What's going on, family? It's your brother Andre. We're excited to be with you again today.
Yes, indeed, with another discussion about loving your life. What's happening?
Loving your life. Hey, you know what? Doing really well. It is still blazing out here. So my baby's doing a great job of maintaining the fort. I just got in not too long ago, but really wanted to just spend some time relaxing and kind of planning this coming weekend to try to escape some of this heat. Obviously, there's quite a bit to do, chores and different assignments, but at the same time, we want to make sure we're taking time to be intentional to enjoy.
I hear you. You know what? I'm struggling, babe.
What's going on? What you mean?
Dental work, y'all.
Hey,
dental
so listen,
work.
Yeah, hey, listen. Y'all keep my baby lifted up. She had some dental work a few days ago. And so...
You know, I think I'd rather deal with labor than dental pain.
Well, I can't. Obviously, I don't know what that's like. But I can say this, you know, you still fine, girl.
Oh.
But she walking around like a little chipmunk. One side of her cheek is swollen. But, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like a G. You know what I'm saying? I've been holding it down, fam. I've been holding it down, making sure we got the ice cream and the cold stuff to keep her, you know, at ease. So
yes, you've been doing a phenomenal job. I've actually kind of gotten a little like wanting it every day, you know. And so he's been.
You want it every day? What you talking about, girl?
Be quiet.
What are you talking?
The ice cream.
Oh, the ice cream. Oh, she's talking about ice cream. Yeah. So for sure, the ice cream. I'm getting the ice cream. See, good. Man, stop playing.
Man. See,
we're girl. Oh, you tripping.
Whatever.
But for sure, hey, it's been real. 100. I think we're scheduled to have 112 degree weather again the next few days here in Arizona. So obviously, it's a lot of swimming, a lot of staying in the house, a lot of movies. We've kind of moved our workout regimen inside as much as possible. And then obviously there's still some things we do early in the morning or in the evening for his bike ride. So listen, hey, I would encourage you, you know, in spite of the weather, in spite of what's going on, part of loving your life, again, a major part of it is taking care of your body, taking care of yourself from a holistic approach, body, soul, and mind.
Yes.
So make sure, I'm encouraging you, make sure everyone you make time for your health, for your physical activity or exercise, peace of mind, well-being. You feel much better when you're active.
That's real. That's real. You know, get out inside is crucial. That vitamin D, it is huge for the immune system. For fair skin individuals, 15 minutes. For more melanin, get your 30 minutes in. Do what you need to do to continue to help your immune system. And also unplug. You know, go outside without a cell phone, without feeling like you need to be, you know, plugged into something. Take in the outdoors, get your deep breathing in, get some walking in, all those good things that are continue to breathe life. That is crucial because, as you all know, we've been shut down, locked in, quarantined, whatever you want to call it, for how long now?
Well, hey, quite a while. You kind of lose track. It's somewhat coming kind of the norm. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. To be successful, all of us, we have to find ways to be productive and to keep on keeping on.
It's huge for your mental health.
Yeah, so for sure. So, babe, I want to kind of get into today, just really, you know, I know a lot of things have come up. We spend quite a bit of time, you know, across the board, life coaching, you know, talking with a variety of people from all over. And a major theme is just kind of energy and protecting your energy.
Right.
And so I want to kind of get into that. Really, what does that mean? What does that look like? Protecting your energy. I think like I said, we've spent a lot of time life coaching, ministering, and a lot of it has to do with this very thing, protecting your energy. So I kind of wanted to talk about this. Listen, the importance of your life or your energy is vital. Every aspect of your life is surrounded around your ability to complete tasks. And it's not just physical tasks, it's mental tasks and so forth, which takes, energy, strength.
Right.
And so I want to really stress the importance of making sure that people realize that their energy is a premium. And oftentimes people have a tendency, with good intentions, but really not doing a good job of protecting their energy. And I want to stress this is vitally important, because sometimes people will spend, and most of the time I would think, most people are unintentionally zapping someone's energy.
Mm-hmm.
But oftentimes people are so focused on what's going on in their life that at times they become a zapper of someone else's energy. So part of loving your life, again, stressing from a holistic approach, the value that you contain as a woman, as a man, as an individual, and how it is very important to put a premium on your energy.
It's everything that you said I concur with. But it goes back to definitely self-worth, being able to look at your value. And as my husband mentioned, there's a premium on it, and being able to protect it. You have to protect what's valuable. If we go, there's certain stores you can't have access to certain pieces of jewelry. There's certain things that are of high value and they are protected. And it's important that you view yourself just like that. That nobody, not just anybody can touch you. Not just anybody is going to have access to you and tap into you and drain you. And if that has been you, being able to self-evaluate, why is it that I allow people to drain me here, pull me here, and then you're mad at them or you're mad at everybody else, and then you're mad at yourself, which is taking more energy out of you. And so it goes back to self-evaluation, putting a premium on your time, reassessing your lifestyle, and setting boundaries. And I said a lot just now, but I really want to kind of jump in and look at why do people struggle with saying, no, I can't do this? What are your thoughts around that, babe? Like, why is it hard for us as human beings to cut people off that are draining us?
Right.
I just want to hear your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I think number one thing is a lot of people, I would say most people, they have a desire to help. But the problem is because oftentimes a desire to help can become a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all have, and that's a skill that people have to learn. You have to get to a place where you help people help themselves. That doesn't mean you don't love them. That doesn't mean you don't care for them. However, it does mean that we, as adults, each of us have our own burden to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I make sure when I'm going through with someone else, and I may ask for advice or even just kind of want to bounce some things off of them just to see their thoughts on it and perspectives. But at the end of the day, my conversations with other people about what I have going on in my life is not meant to, be a burden to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, there are some people where they will share and talk with you, but they're looking for you to fix their problems, or they're looking for you to take on, what they're dealing with. And they're, and it really is a way to try to get you to do just that. Take on problems that they don't have the ability to deal with or they don't want to deal with. And I want to stress again, this premium on your life is making sure that you protect your energy, meaning it's good to be there for people you love, support one another. That's all things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, we've learned and we've spent many an hour providing life coaching services for people to make sure that they realize what a premium they are. And this area of protecting your energy is so vital, because if you wear yourself out by carrying someone else's burdens to the point where you're becoming a crutch in their life, you're not able to do the things that you need to do.
Right.
For your family, for your children, for your spouse, your significant other, your loved ones, your career.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think some of it, why people do it, is that, they're really not aware of how it's impacting them.
Yeah, that's a huge one. To add to that, I would also say where, and it kind of coincides with it, is where you just allowed people to become over dependent on you,
Right.
versus empowering them to utilize their own mind, or to utilize the skills and the tools that you've given them. Where they're coming back to you consistently for these reminders, or wanting you to say the same thing a different way. And obviously they're not going to say that, but many times when it's repeats, and I'm not saying 1 to 2 times, I'm talking about that person that consistently calls you same issue, different day. And you say the same thing, you've just said it 10 different ways. And if that's you, being able to step up your game to the point where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to empower you. This topic, we've discussed it such and such amount of times. At this point, you need to, give them a goal to move towards where they stop becoming so dependent on you. And because if you don't, then it sours you in certain areas, or makes you kind of pull back in an area that you're truly gifted in. But you're just so drained from individuals that, again, have just become overly dependent on that area of gifting, where you have not empowered them to step out on the tools that you've given them. And so, well, that's another part.
For sure. But that ties right into, so they don't become overly dependent of you. That ties right into maturity.
Right.
Some people, they don't want to grow up, or they don't want to mature, and they find it much easier to try to avoid responsibilities by putting them on someone else. And so I want to stress, if that's you, if you've been the one to carry someone's burdens to the point where it's a fault of yours, you do need to take actions to step away, because you're robbing people of the opportunity to mature. At the end of the day, part of growing up is demonstrating maturity and how you face conflict, how you deal with fears, how you deal with problems. And so some people with good intentions, they rob people of their ability to grow up. And the last thing, even as we parent our kids, but even, our responsibility as parents is to raise them up to be responsible adults. And so that means that they do need to experience carrying their weight, their chores, holding them accountable, carrying their weight on things that they want with their allowance, making sure they spend money on things they want, meaning help them find the solution to many of their problems within, versus constantly running to us to solve their problems. We would be robbing them of the opportunity to mature as teenagers. So the same concept with dealing with adults. Just because you're 40 years old doesn't mean you're a mature adult.
Right.
And so sometimes people with good intentions, whether it's regret what happened, or feel like no one else is available for them, or they don't want to leave someone. Listen, when you carry someone else's burdens and you rob them of the ability to mature, you're really not helping them. You're becoming a crutch in their life, and it's detrimental to you, but it's also detrimental to the people that you're allowing this to occur. And so it ties back to maturity. And then I'm going to stress too, if you really think about it, man, just think about this. People make decisions, so many decisions every day as adults. People make so many different decisions, major decisions, what would be probably classified as small decisions, just routine decisions, where we're going to eat, where we're going to go, how we're going to spend money, what type of career we're going to have, what we're going to do for vacation, for fun. There's so many decisions people make on a daily basis. Okay. So people make decisions, but oftentimes these same people don't want to deal with the consequences of these decisions. And so one of the big things is, listen, don't allow other people's decisions to zap your energy. If people are mature enough and old enough to make decisions, okay, then we need to allow them to experience what comes along with those decisions.
Right.
That is the only way people can truly learn, is this good for me or is it not? So if I jump in with my cape and I try to save everyone from life's consequences based upon decisions they made, and I'm talking about to the point where I'm not allowing them to feel the weight of their consequences, I'm doing them a disservice, and that's not life.
It's not.
It's not.
Period.
It's not a healthy life, I'll say that.
Right.
And so, again, I believe most people have good intentions, but you need to be aware of it, because at the end of the day, we're only human.
Well, and when you break it down like that, any soldier, I'm just going to use war as an analogy. No soldier is going to show up on the battlefield ill-equipped. And so when it comes to parenting, when it comes within any relationship that you're in, a covenant relationship, very close relationship, you don't want the other party involved to go out and do anything ill-equipped. And so if you are constantly putting yourself in a position that is not promoting growth and helping them to develop their skills, you're sending them out into a world that's going to eat them alive. And then you turn around and feel guilty about it, or you're yelling at them for their indeficiencies versus taking responsibility for the role that you played and then being ill-equipped. And it comes back to we love our children, we love our spouses, those that we're in covenant relationship with. We don't want things to happen to them. We don't want them to hurt. And that becomes the emphasis versus, you know what? I'm going to make sure you are well equipped for this, and that. Here are the tools. And then they have a responsibility to begin to implement them in their lives as, things occur. And that applies to all things. When you are the nutrition that you put in your body, you want to eat now for the future. Thinking ahead of the game. You're not going to be 25 for the rest of your life. And so it's really preventative. You want to prevent a lot of chaos. You can't protect our loved ones from everything. That's life. Life happens, but you don't want them to navigate through life ill-equipped and unprepared. And if you keep putting yourself in positions to try to cover them versus equip them, that's directly impacting your health, your physical health, your mental health, which now positions you to not be in a good place just overall health-wise.
Right. And here's the bottom line. It goes back to, again, because as humans, as individuals, we have a capacity, meaning I believe, yes, we can do all things, but that don't mean we need to do all things. Right. Yes, we can learn to do better, but we need to use wisdom because at the end of the day, if we take on more than we can truly handle, and life is seasons, ups and downs. Sometimes you may be working 2 or 3 jobs. Sometimes you may be working and going to school. But sometimes people take on too many things, and part of that too many things are other people's burdens to the point where it is crushing them. And so, again, I would encourage all our listeners, you really need to empower your sphere, or the people that you have contact with, the people that are in your inner circle. Make sure that you empower your sphere to carry the load of their burdens. As you listen with the empathetic ear. We all have loved ones that we cherish and we like to spend time with and talk with. And of course, you listen with the empathetic ear, but you do have to make sure that you empower your sphere to carry the load of their burdens. Because someone's burdens, although we're called to work with one another and walk with one another, we're all called to carry a load. And sometimes people will try to put, in addition to your individual load, they'll try to put their load on you.
Well, 100%. And this is something that you're going to continually fight for because life happens. Mm-hmm. Being able to plan your schedule around your week. If there's certain situations that take a lot of focus, take a lot of energy out of you, that's not the week to book 15 appointments. It being able to adjust your schedule, modify your schedule so that you can give the time and attention that's needed, so that you are at the top of your game. I can speak on some things, that's hit me, planning, knowing weeks ahead. Hey, you're going to be having dental surgery this week. So what does that mean? Don't have this week packed with clients.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a big part of even what we do, even with life coaching, providing meaningful services, specific plans, and giving people valuable resources so that they won't make these same mistakes, and then or if that's them, if they see themselves in this situation, giving them meaningful tools to do better in this area. And that's a part of loving your life. Listen, you may not be able to help where you are right now in this moment in time, or the state that you may find yourself in right now, but you can start this moment
right
in improving whatever situation, whatever state you're in right now. Okay. At some point, get to the point where the past is the past. We got to look at, okay, not that we forget, but what can I do right now to better this situation? And so I want to encourage you, listen, again, this is a passion of ours. We provide meaningful resources and support to truly help people to get to that place where they put a premium on their life, because it's so important. And again, we look at years that, we've been counseling, life coaching, providing, pastoral counseling, life coaching. This is something that we've seen throughout the years where people are truly bogged down with other people's burdens to the point where it's detrimental to their well-being. So I'm going to encourage, everyone, truly take some time, do some evaluation, self-reflection and evaluation to really look at what adjustments and shifts do you need to make, because, again, you owe it to yourself to do better in this area. That's for sure.
Most definitely. And I'm gonna be straight up with you. When you start implementing these things, the haters are gonna come out the woodworks. And I'm saying haters because there are people that have benefited off of your strengths. And when you start setting boundaries and saying, no, I'm going to protect my energy because there are things that are more pressing. Number one, your own individual self-care, because that's really what this is about. You reevaluating, taking a look at yourself and saying, there's a premium on my time, and this individual's having their cake and eating it too, and being able to say, hey, and so being okay with people being frustrated, because at the end of the day, it's not affecting them the way that it's affecting you.
Well, that's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because oftentimes people say, I'm with you, or I love you, or we're in this together, when you're carrying the majority of the load.
Man, talk about it.
But when you set healthy boundaries and you put a premium on your life and have an understanding that, no, I'm not going to allow you to use and abuse me or carry unjust weight, you're going to carry your own weight. That's when you're going to see people who have been benefiting off of you being a mule or the burden carrier. Yeah. When you set healthy boundaries and say put procedures in place and no, I'm not going to do this. This is where you're going to see people who say they love you, some people who say that they're with you. You're going to see them begin to manifest and give attitude. Why? Mm-hmm. Because your eyes have been opened and you're no longer their mule.
Right.
They have to carry their own weight. And they've been benefiting off of your labor, off of your service, off of your sacrifice. And so now when you set healthy boundaries, they have to carry their own weight. And so then some people will try to rise up and shame you, make you feel like, you're ostracized, or say that or try to, punish you per se, mm-hmm. into submission, trying to make you go back to the way it was or do what you were doing. And so a big part of who we are and what we do is help people open up their eyes and to see truth. Now, truth hurts. It's not necessarily going to be easy, especially when truth hits you in the face and you realize it's people that you love.
Right. And especially, when there's language being used to try to manipulate your emotions, to get out of you what they want, man.
Yeah.
That's painful. And you really have to be cautious. And it goes back to what you just said, babe, about you have to pinpoint truth. Because when the language to bring manipulation starts to surface, you have to be intentional versus getting dragged into the gaslighting, and the other individual not taking responsibility for their part and their role, and them needing to step up and do what they need to do and mature up and woman up and man up. You have to look at the situation from a whole lens and say, okay, what is truth? And what is a lie? Identify the truth and ride that wave and dismantle the lies. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is benefiting off of you, they're not your biggest fan when you cut them loose.
No, that's for sure.
Period.
And that's where the rubber meets the road. And so again, for some people, you spent too much time and energy wasting on people who walked out or who left. They made their decision. I'm not saying, yes, it hurts. It's difficult. They left you in a bind. But you know what? You've cried long enough. You've stressed, you've fretted long enough. They've made their decision. And so, again, at some point, you need to be able to say, okay, I need to move forward. And, and again, this kind of reminds me of, I believe, the prophet Samuel. He was lamenting over King Saul because God had rejected him. He was crying and fasting. And eventually God said, listen, okay, you done cried over him enough. I done rejected Saul and I've chose David. And so, again, all of us have that. We got to get to that point. We have that aha moment and stop. And I don't mean to say, when I say crying, yes, we all cry. So there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you have to stop spending so much time and energy stressing over people who are not there or stressing over people who left, and spend your time and energy on who is with you, who is there, and what you have within your hands. These are meaningful tools that we're sharing with you all. And when we work with people in life coaching, in our life coaching business, it's tangible steps to truly help you, lead a more productive life.
Most definitely. And when you put a premium on your time and your value, and you begin to cut people loose, or it may not be a full cutting of people loose, but you're just loosening the rope where they're now like, okay, I need to pull back, and there's some areas in my life I need to start functioning without being so dependent on mom, so dependent on dad or uncle or aunt or mentor or pastor, counselor, whatever your role may be in their lives, or vice versa, whatever role somebody may be in your life. Being able to say, okay, it's time for me to pull back and start applying the tools that they've given me in my life, and being okay with it. It's a beautiful thing to grow up and to be challenged, because that's when you truly identify who you are, what you're made of. And when you're depending on somebody else's strengths, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not putting yourself in a position to truly identify your gifts and how amazing you are, and the strength and the gifts that you've been given. And so it's crucial for your own mental health and physical health to be able to step out and to grow up.
And I want to say too this, I'm just going to go a little deeper for some people, and this is not everyone, but part of when I talk about self-reflection, some people, there's a void in your life, and you found it easier to fulfill that void by trying to be everything for everyone, or trying to be a fixer. And you think that's going to bring you peace because there's something missing in your life, or that it may be regret, it may be traumas, hidden traumas that's masquerading, and you feel better when you fix other people's issues. Listen, that is so dangerous, because I'm going to stress, you don't have the power to fix other people's issues. Okay? And any good, counselor, any good life coach, they're going to make sure they give you meaningful assignments so that you can do some soul searching, do some digging, and make sure you're doing your work within to do your part in the healing process. They're not going to heal you. And so I want to stress, some people, they allow themselves to carry other people's burdens because it's kind of a perverted way to fulfill a void in their life. You're not truly helping yourself by taking on that persona or by taking on that mindset. Mm-hmm. And so part of, what our mission is in regards to loving your life is truly helping you identify what specific areas you may be operating in. You're doing a good thing, but you're doing a good thing, but it's not good for you. Right. So some people, they carry people's burdens because, again, it's a perverted way of trying to fill a void. And listen, as long as you do that, you are not going to actually ever be fulfilled, because you're trying to do something that goes against nature. You cannot rob someone's opportunity to mature and not do damage to your own life. Okay? Yeah. We start off as babes drinking milk, and we go from milk to meat. And so when you try to rob someone from meat, when you try to rob them from growing up, I want you to understand that you're crippling your own life. And so, again, I know that's pretty deep, but listen, we've spent numerous years supporting people, helping people, get to this point where they can truly, as an adult, identify and work on self-care so that they can be the best them for their loved ones, their spheres of influence, their career, whatever it may be. And so, again, you each owe it to yourself. I want to encourage you, please check us out. We offer life coaching. We have a host of resources available, and we provide meaningful plans and supports to help people. Well, virtual formats. Obviously, we meet in person as we're able to due to the COVID-19. But obviously, we have plenty of virtual meetings and have a host of resources to truly help people live their best life. So it's been real. Baby, tell them where they can check us out at.
Please check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. We're so glad you all took the time out of your day to tune in today, and we will be back with another episode. We love you.
Peace.
Shout to the city that raised me. Shout to the people that made me. I'm from the 80s. I don't think mumbling wavy. I grew up black on a Jay-Z. Maybe I'm crazy. I ain't been wondering lately. Feel like it's there for the taking. Feel like I'm good with the changes. Know who I am, and that's the most dangerous state.
Hey, Love Your Life fam. It's Crystal and Andre Holland.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, looking forward to hearing from you. So to find us, you can check us out on
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Stitcher. We look forward to hearing from you all.